Thank you guys for watching this, whether you're watching it live, whether you're watching the recording. Over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be interviewing all the speakers that have been involved in the Take on the World Ladies, Look Good and Feel Amazing, Even in Lockdown Summit, which starts Monday, the 11th of May. If you haven't got your ticket, I will put a link in the comments, or there might be already one. Actually, you can take a look at Ann-See's profile page, find out a little bit more about her. And well, let's let Ann explain. So if you can share with everybody who you are and what you do.
Oh, what do? I do lots of things because I'm a ninja. No, I spent many years in the fitness industry, and I still do with a company called Les Mills, and I have launched Body Balance in the UK. Prior to that, I used to lecture at university in exercise physiology, essentially. But throughout, underlying all of that, all the stuff that I used to do, there was always yoga for me. That was always
So you taught yoga before you got involved with Les Mills with Body Balance, is that right?
Yeah, yoga's always been a part of my life, and because even before Body Balance, I was in the freestyle world, and I was the only Asian in the whole of the UK presenting at the time.
Wow!
And I knew I needed a niche, and so way back then, I sort of started doing mind body fitness classes that incorporated yoga and Tai Chi and things like that, which was why I then got the phone call, maybe it was a phone call in those days, to say, we're bringing Body Balance to the UK, we would like you to have a look at it.
Right, and how long ago was that? Because I was trying to think earlier, when I probably first met you, when I first even started doing Body Balance. Was it, what year was that? Can you remember?
I did my body pump training in 1999.
Right.
Because I thought I'd better find out about what Les Mills is like as a company.
Okay.
And then I think I did the boot camp in 99, but we didn't launch Body Balance till 2000, I think. So 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think I probably did it 2000, 2001. Body Balance. So for those of you who are unaware, you might want to check out actually the Les Mills. They're doing the on-demand service as you're stuck at home. Ann-See was the top master trainer for Body Balance as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, check her out. So yoga was the underlying. So you'd always done yoga. What style of yoga did you start with?
I just started, I think, like most people, but you got to think now we're going back like say 30 odd years, you know. So there wasn't as much choice, and it was just a yoga class basically that you would kind of go to. I did a bit of Ashtanga, you know, which was the main thing. I didn't really do any Iyengar. I just found it a little bit too static, the classes that I went to. Coming from a sports background, I wanted to move, you know. So I was probably more drawn to Ashtanga yoga, power yoga. And then it wasn't until I was lecturing at the university when I looked at, you know, exercise as a form of therapy, because it's all started with that. I was in the exercise science side of things rather than sports science. So we're looking at exercise for health, you know, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, that kind of thing. And what really got me was the fact that we used to put people in boxes. So you're a diabetic, these are the guidelines. If you're an obese person, these are the guidelines. Do you see what I mean? And I just thought it didn't make sense because we're all different.
More complex than that, right?
Yeah. You know, you can't just, you know, and it was back then, I don't even know if they are today, but back then everything was kind of, you know, promoted by the American College of Sports Medicine. These were their guidelines and stuff. And that was what we taught our students. And I just thought, you can't do this. And coming from Malaysia and brought up with Chinese medicine, you treat the individual. You don't treat people the same way. So two people with the same condition will not get the same treatment.
That makes
in
sense.
Chinese medicine, right? Because our life experience is different, our genetics are different, our lifestyle's different, what we eat's different, our enzymes, hormones, everything's different. Yeah, we're similar, but they respond differently. So that led me down this route of Ayurvedic medicine, which is what I started to look at, and it was a postgraduate diploma that I did at London University, because it was like Chinese medicine. You treated the individual. I didn't do Chinese medicine because I'm Chinese. It's one of those like, no, grew up with it. No, not interested.
No.
The grass is always greener somewhere else,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, very true.
So I studied postgraduate in medicine, and through that came across a approach to yoga where you were teaching yoga to the individual. You got the yoga to fit the person rather than get the first person to fit the yoga.
Right. So it's a more holistic approach to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just about the physical side, because like if someone, I remember I had one-to-one student many years ago, and she started on the physical side, and then she had a fibroid operation, and then lots of other things, and she was in hospital for a while, and so her yoga practice was breath work and meditation. But nowadays we kind of, and some people that teach yoga, you kind of see the yoga as the physical. I do meditation. I don't do yoga, I do meditation. Or I do breath work. I'm a breath work teacher, and I don't, and I'm like, yoga's all of that. It's not just, we seem to like, I think, in the West, to split things up into components. Like we split diseases up, you've got cancer and you're treated by the cancer department, the oncology department, and that department doesn't really talk to the neurology department. It's like that, and we kind of break things down, and we've done that to yoga, I feel.
Right. So with what you do now, is this your own personal style that you've developed, or how do you do it?
Yeah, so it's I think yoga is essentially everyone's style anyway. And I don't think it's any different, like, being a coach or anything else. You're taught a certain way, and you're taught the principles, but then we all put our own stamp on it, don't we?
Yeah.
Even with hypnotherapy or coaching, we've got our life experiences, and you can't not overlay some of that, even especially on a subconscious level. Our own influences will influence how we communicate. And so I think with yoga, everyone puts their own slant on it. But also what I've done is I've kept very true to the tradition I've been trained in terms of the principles, of getting everyone to make yoga fit them. And so I feel that's very empowering. I use a lot of breath work because that's how I've been taught. I flow because that's how I've been taught. So I've kept with the tradition of how I've been taught. I've kept the principles, and then, life happens, right?
So out of all the things that you've taught over the years, of which there are many, aren't there, Ann-See?
Yeah.
I remember you, I don't know whether you still do, you even taught body combat, so that's the opposite to yoga, right?
Yeah, combat, pump. Yeah, we all did it.
So why did you want to specifically teach yoga?
Do you know, the funny thing is, when I applied to do my teacher training, I actually didn't want to teach. I didn't. I said to my teacher, I said, look, I teach. That's my job. I was a lecturer at the university. I was a trainer for Les Mills. I taught classes at the health clubs in the evenings. I teach all the time, and I really just wanted to do the yoga for me.
Right.
But in those days, if you're going back, 25, 30 years ago, there weren't as many workshops around. Do you see what I mean? And you might need to go and spend like years in India or somewhere. And I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to deepen my own learning and experience of yoga. And the only alternative really, when it came down to it, was to go through a teacher training. And your teacher they've got to write you a reference when you apply to do it, because you have an interview and stuff like that. And she says, Ann-See, I can't say that you don't want to teach. Just say that you want to teach. Otherwise, they won't accept you on the course. And so I did. I sort of said that I wanted to teach. And then, part of what, like any course, you've got to do your hours of teaching experience and you did case studies and things. So, I kind of fell into it, really. I didn't plan. I was happy doing what I was doing.
Passion for you. And then, like I think many of us these days are hopefully following what they are passionate about rather than seeing it as work. Would that be right?
Yeah. And now, it's one of the things that I do. I still think there's a gap in the yoga world, and and that's where I'm working on filling it, really. Just to bring it back to basics, right? So our latest hashtag we came up with last year was like, where yoga gets real. It's not about these like put your leg around your head and how all the Instagram worthy shots, and it really it's a way of life.
Would think these days that some people, especially if they're new to yoga, then they can actually be put off by all these images of super, super flexible people, and they feel that maybe they can't do that. What would you say to them to actually encourage them to give it a try?
I would say try different teachers, try different styles. Because even within the one style, and this, even like say teaching body balance, even though the choreography is the same, the different teachers teach differently.
Totally.
And you get, and coaches, there's, lots of coaches around, and, I could go to a networking meeting and there are 3 life coaches in the same meeting, but you get drawn to the person.
Absolutely.
In terms of energy, in terms of their view of the world, which might be similar to your view of the world. So just because you've tried a yoga class, don't get put off. It could be the teacher, it could be the style, it could be both. So I would say just go out there and there will be something, that suits whatever you want. I think where the gap is that you have the traditionalists and then you have these new young teachers that are coming out.
Right.
And there is a gap. We don't live way back when. We live in 2020. And if we believe in what yoga can do, then I think as a teacher we are obliged to share more and be more open to people's needs, because everyone needs different things. So.
Absolutely. So what would you say for somebody who's never done yoga, and what would you say are the real main benefits of starting?
So a lot of the people that come and do yoga with me will say that the main benefits they get is they sleep better and they are a better person. Right. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And they said, wow, when I go home, I'm not as shitty.
A bit calmer.
Yeah. And I think this is the thing. And I thought that people will say, oh, I'm more flexible and I'm stronger, etc. And when we did a survey of certainly at our yoga studio, the things that they come back with are more to do with their life rather than the physicality, which is great for me.
That's better, isn't it? But would you think that people maybe start off by going yoga for those practical physical reasons?
They do. They either come for back pain. A lot of them come because I need to feel more supple. I need to stretch. So you get a lot of that. I think very rarely does someone come in and I have had it though. I have had someone years ago come up to me and show me a photograph of a pose and say, I want to look like that. I want to do this pose.
Okay. So that's a very specific goal in mind.
Very specific. Which is great. If that got that person on a yoga mat, then for me, whatever it is, yoga can help you physically. It can help you be stronger. It can help you be more flexible. It can help you breathe better, sleep better, feel less stressed. So you've got all those reasons. And if that's why you come, then great. For this particular person, it was about a particular pose, and that was what this person wanted to do. Once they're in, I do always tend to ask them, okay, so what is it about the pose? Right, and then for them to realize, actually, okay, I need to be able to do it my way. And it's fascinating teaching yoga, seeing why people arrive and then why they end up staying.
It's a journey, right?
An absolute journey. And I don't talk philosophy at all really when I teach, like some yoga teachers do. I just believe that if you practice, then it comes.
Brilliant. And I think for now, I mean, how are you coping with these with lockdown on a personal level? How have you coped with this?
Busier than ever. Do you know, it's been crazy.
Because it is, you are doing, were you always online? Were you online before the lockdown happened, or is it something that you've adapted? How did it come about?
So with things like retreats, obviously we were meant to have had a retreat this weekend, just gone. So that obviously didn't happen. Delayed. We postponed it. So we're doing 2 back-to-back in November, 2 weekends back-to-back in November instead, providing everything's okay. And then the teacher training that I do, funnily enough, I've been approached over the years by people who live outside of the UK, or even in the UK, saying, "Why do you do stuff online?" And I've always resisted it because I wanted to really serve the people that train with me, and I wanted to get to know them. But summer last year, someone I trained years ago for Body Balance, I think, contacted me and said, "Oh, they were living further afield in the Middle East, and said, would you do something?" And I went, it's about time. So I put it online, my course online in November. I haven't marketed it. I've got people doing it, but I haven't marketed it at all. So it's already done, do you see me? Which was great. When this happened, I was like, okay, I have an online product already. With our yoga studio, that was interesting because I kind of knew it was going to happen. So we actually adapted very quickly, even though we started adapting 2 weeks before the official lockdown.
Right, brilliant.
So we just started to move them online, and now, like any business, I think you will lose people because they have no income coming in. But then we've also gained people that are further afield.
Yeah, it opens the doors, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And we are sort of a boutique studio, so our classes are limited in number anyway. But now that people have got used to this, but not just people live further away. Like we had a lady who's, young mums, and they said, "But you know what? I just can't get to the studio." So it's really suited them, and so it's something that we are going to carry on after. Brilliant. So we'll have a live class, but we'll stream the class as well.
Do both. So it's funny, isn't it? When you've been forced into things, sometimes it can actually work out better for you.
Absolutely.
So for this summit, what are you going to be sharing with people?
Okay, so for me, yoga has very much and always been a part of my life, and I really believe that what you do on a mat is a metaphor for life. Because I'm sure you've heard of the saying, "How we do anything is how we do everything." And my yoga teacher years ago says that what you will discover on a yoga mat are your habits, your habitual processes, your habitual thought processes. So ask yourself, do those habits serve me or not? And if they don't, change it. So for you, what I'm doing is I'm doing specific. So you got 2 sessions. So you've got an on the mat concept and an off the mat concept as well.
Brilliant. So I think it's going to be an amazing thing for people who know you as well and love you, and who have already experienced with yoga. It's going to be a great thing for them. But more so, I'm hoping it'll be more of an introduction for people out there that maybe have been a little bit too scared to actually step into a yoga studio because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm sure it can feel very intimidating for people seeing all these super flexible women that know, and men, that know exactly what they're doing. Whereas this is going to be done without anybody watching, in the safety of their own home. So hopefully then they can experience some of it and realize that, wow, yes, this is something they can do. And you already have an online studio, so very, very easy for them to join too. And for any budding yoga instructors out there. I've known Ann-See for, over 20 years.
About 20 years, isn't it? About 20 years. Wow.
So I know firsthand what an amazing, very patient, very calm, which I suppose is what you have to be for yoga, and very talented, very experienced yoga teacher trainer as well. So if it's something that maybe you're looking at going into, then definitely get in touch with us. So I will put a link in here in the comments, whether it's above or below. And you can see more information about Ann-See if you want to connect with her via email, to her website, Facebook, all the other social media. Everything is there. And yes, well, I'll be looking forward to doing your workout with you in the comfort of my own home next week. Well, it's in a couple of weeks now.
Couple of weeks, isn't it? Yeah, it's a nice gentle practice that I've done, because obviously there's lots of, I have no idea who's going to be doing this in their background. So for people who are brand new, it's nothing too strenuous. For people who do a lot of yoga, it's sometimes nice to slow things down and actually apply the off the mat concepts on the mat. That's the whole idea. So it's not just about I'm moving my body, it's actually applying the concepts. So
brilliant. Well, thank you, Ann-See. I'm honoured that you're part of this.
No, thank you for asking me.
Oh, well, thank you. So we will see you later. Any questions, please put them in the comments. Feel free to contact Ann-See, and we will see you at the event. Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.